Hello, welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. As you can see on the screen, this is not today's daily puzzle. In fact, I don't know what day. I don't know the date currently at the time I'm recording this because I am traveling and I have recorded this video in advance in case there are days in which I'm unable to record, and this must be one of those days. So here is a bonus video solve. This is it's the sixth and final of a series that has been running on these days when I'm not able to do the daily solve. And it is the sixth in the series I call the Never Before series. There's a link in the description field to a playlist containing the 5 previous editions of this series if you'd like to catch up on them. But this is, as you can see on the screen, the result of the New York Times, Will Shortz and the New York Times Puzzle Department asking some favorite Times crossword contributors, what would you like to do in a daily Times crossword that has never been done before? This week's puzzles, Monday to Saturday, are the result. That makes this puzzle the Saturday puzzle from that series, the Saturday and final puzzle from that series, which means I suspect it will be the most difficult of those. It is a Saturday puzzle after all, so we'll have to see. In any case, this never before edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by, and I'm just sort of thanking the next people who are due to be thanked on the day that I happen to be recording this. In any case, they are Aaron Spiller, the Lake House Bros, Jake Rodkin, and, as always, the indomitable Shoalmaster and the incredible Horn family. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. I really do appreciate that, as I appreciate the efforts of all of the patrons who keep the series going. If you'd like to become a patron, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve. There's a link in the description field as well. And there you can find the bonus videos that are available to patrons, as well as, of course, the Daily Solve Let's Check the Crosses official mug. So thank you to them. Thank you, of course, also to everybody who's subscribed on YouTube. That's a big help. Please consider subscribing on YouTube if you enjoy this channel. And then there's the Daily Solve Discord chat server where you can chat to other members of this community. There's a link to the description in the description field to that as well. All right, so let's get on to this never before edition of the Daily Solve of the New York Times crossword. This is a construction by Timothy Poland, who at this point has constructed several dozen puzzles for the New York Times. I don't know how many he had constructed as of October 17th, 2015. That is, of course, the day on which this crossword is published, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shortz. So let's start solving and see. I don't yet know what's in store for us today. Entry forms. I don't even have a guess to this, actually. Sorry, you might draw them when answering questions. Well, you could draw blanks, but that's one. You might draw a blank when answering questions. Draw, but that doesn't fit, obviously. Draw on your knowledge. Draw conclusions is too long. I'm not sure. French metropolis near the Belgian border. Oh, near the Belgian border specifically. I don't. I'm sure I'll know it when I see it, but I don't know off the top of my head. Man's name, that's another man's name in reverse. Well, Otto is a famously palindromic name that shows up in New York Times crosswords, but that would be the same name in reverse, so it's unlikely that that's the case. I don't know. Spots at a casino. Bills, sort of, banknotes. I don't really think that's right. Spots at a casino. Not sure. Abstruse knowledge. Arcana? Boy, I'm really coming up with lots of things that are one letter off today. Abstruse knowledge. Arcana, what else? Miscellany or... I'm not thinking of anything else. Floating island visited in Gulliver's Travels. Here's another one I'll know when I see it, but I can't think what it is right now. I don't remember which one is the floating island. Floating island. In fact, I don't even know that I'm going to remember, because I don't think the floating has anything to do with the actual sort of people who live there, as far as I can recall. I mean, there's Lilliput is the one where the small people are. That's, again, I'm off by one letter. It's too long. Laputa, I think, is one, which is also one letter off in the other direction. There's one that's like Brobdingnag, I think, is where the horse people are. That's much too long. I don't know. It's been so long since I've read that. Barbershop relative. a cappella, sort of barbershop singing, barbershop relative. I'm thinking it's maybe barbershop music, barbershop relative. I don't know. Van Gogh masterpiece. I know that that's not the proper Dutch pronunciation. Sunflowers is one of his, right? What are some other famous paintings? I mean, there's the famous self-portrait. I don't remember what that's actually called. I hope I'm right with sunflowers and I'm not thinking of the wrong artist. Sunblocks. Solar eclipses. That's 2 letters too short. Sunblocks. How is that not solar eclipses? Lilliputian informally. That's funny. Floating out. Yeah, Lilliputian. Informally. I don't. Those were the really tiny people in Gulliver's Travels. I don't remember what they're called informally. Sun in the crossword and in sort of poetic contexts is often an orb, or actually it might be soul. That's the sort of name of our sun, isn't it? In certain contexts, that might be more likely. Birdhouse. I would have assumed that to be a nest. But it could be a coat, like a dove coat. That actually came up, I think maybe it was a sheep coat that came up in the regular crossword recently. Oh, with 39 across, region beyond the Kármán line. I actually don't know how this is pronounced. This is something to do with space or the atmosphere. I don't remember exactly what this is. Region beyond the Kármán line. I'm sure that I'm not doing it justice with those accents. Or a literal hint to what this puzzle has. Well, I think this is basically outer space. I don't remember exactly what the Kármán line defines, but it's something to do with the Earth's atmosphere or something like that. So I think this is probably outer space. What is this? World War II poster girl. Oh, Rosie the Riveter. I think she was also in a recent New York Times crossword. That's the famous woman depicted in the poster kind of flexing, or she's got you sometimes see they've got the one where she's got a rivet gun, so that's Rosie the Riveter is the sort of alliterative name given to that character. Some crumbled dessert toppings. Oh, Oreos. You could have Oreos crumbled on ice cream or something. Weird. Sorry, I didn't really finish looking at this. So region beyond the Kármán line, or a literal hint to what this puzzle has. Outer space. God, I wonder if it literally means, because it says literal here, I wonder if it literally means a space on the outside of the grid? Because that would actually sort of explain maybe why I have some of these counts wrong. Like, if abstruse knowledge were arcana, that would actually fit there. Floating island. Well, Lilliput obviously wouldn't fit. Oh, actually, I'm curious now to look at this because, strangely enough, I can now look at this to see if I was spelling Lilliput right. And I think I was. Lill. I think that's how I tried to spell it. Lillipu. Yes, okay. Because if it just had one L, it would fit, but that's not correct. But Laputa, the thing is, Laputa would. The Laputians were another. I don't remember what their thing was. Were they the giants, maybe? I don't remember who they were. I just remember the Lilliputians were the small ones, and I think the Brobdingnagians were the horses. But that also means that the French metropolis near the Belgian border could be Lille, which I do know. That is, in fact, the case. Yes, that is near the Belgian border, and I didn't think of it off the top of my head before, but now with these crosses, it's actually very clear. So this is amazing. This is totally amazing. You do draw blanks when answering questions. And this answer is simply blank. So what was this? Entry forms. Oh, is that also just blanks? Entry, as in fill in the blanks. So what about this? Valuable things to have in Scrabble are blanks, blank tiles. This is amazing. I forgot how bizarre and interesting these grids were. It's been months since I did the previous one in this series. So I completely forgot how fascinating they were. Sorry, I know I'm sort of losing my mind here. Anyway, it can't be canned. Well, now I know how this works. This is going to be much easier, I hope. Van Gogh masterpiece. I'm still not sure what this one is. Man's name, that's another man's name in reverse. Right. Ian? No. No, that wouldn't work anyway. I's in the middle of the N. Art Tra isn't a man's name. Oh, well, this is annoying. You'd think I would have been able. This would have been helpful, then I would have just gotten this, but I don't seem to be doing so. Arn, Ari, and Ira. There we go. That's it. Spots at a casino. I don't think this is any more helpful to me, unfortunately. Setting for many sci-fi stories. I hope Laputa is correct. What would underworld or sort of underground? I don't know. Sci-fi stories. I would have assumed this is something to do with, outer space or another alternate reality or something like that. I don't know what would start with U there. I'll have to move on. Is indecisive. I don't know. This isn't unlocking as much as I was hoping it would, but I'm still really thrilled about it. Oh, right. And this doesn't remember as something obvious with on. Oh, it's what I'm doing right now, presumably, is blanks on something, doesn't remember it. Anyway, Old English County Court Sessions. Old English County Court Sessions. I'm curious if I'll remember this as well. It could be something like assizes. I don't actually know if that's right, but actually, let's look at this. This is only 3 letters. Part of le visage. Oh, it could actually be that because le visage is the face in French, and nez, N-E-Z, or N-E-Z is the nose in French. So this might be that, actually. Old English County Court Session. I think that is correct. Project that analyzes electromagnetic radiation, for short. I do know what this is. I remember one of the things I did when I first got the internet, which was, an embarrassingly long time ago, decades ago at this point, was I signed up for SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. I think this stands for, which was you could download a piece of software that would, I think, use extra kind of processing cycles on your computer that weren't, that you weren't actively needing, and it would then process data from electromagnetic radiation collected by this organization, and then it would send it back to them. And I don't exactly remember or understand what all is involved in that, but I'd remember that as a general. It was one of those things that when the internet was younger, it seemed really exciting to be able to do that kind of thing. All right, is indecisive. Teeters, sort of on the edge of a decision, maybe, or irises. Maybe, is that what I was trying to think of when I said, I think sunflowers is, though, as well. But irises is certainly another painting by that artist. So spots at a casino. Oh, pips, maybe, the little dots on a die, on dice, I think, are those are called pips. And I guess spots, they just mean spots meaning sort of dots or circles. Okay, so what is this? Setting for many sci-fi stories. I haven't a clue what this is. This might be wrong. Maybe I have this vowel wrong. But that doesn't still give me anything. Let's see, sunblock. Oh, right, I forgot about this. This is indeed solar eclipses. That does fit. Great, okay. That's good. Negative conjunction nor, neither this nor that. So it's a negative conjunction. Beat it. Away, get away from me, scram. Hercules or Perseus. Those are mythological figures, classical figures. What are they? They're strong. Hercules is famously strong. Perseus was a great warrior. They're I'm just not immediately seeing it. I'm blanking on it, as that other clue said. It can't be canned. Canned. I'm not sure. Up this street and down the next, perhaps. Oh, I'm falling apart entirely. What about this? Oh, right. Here's Lilliputian informally. Oh, maybe this just means, right. It doesn't, I see. Sorry. It doesn't mean a Lilliputian. It doesn't mean a citizen of Lilliput. It means Lilliputian, the adjective, which has been sort of adopted into the English language to refer to something tiny. There we go. So that's what that is. So anyway, what is it can't be canned? Antsy? No, that doesn't even fit. I just don't see what word fits here. I'm fairly certain tiny's correct. Oh no, informally it says sorry. It's probably eeny, which is a more informal language, um, like eeny weeny, that kind of thing, or eeny meeny. It can't be canned. An asset? I just don't see what this is. Up the street and down the next, perhaps. It still feels though I have something wrong. I'll come back to this. Weird. Oh, and the next one is weird as well. Weird, eerie. Oops. And weird is outre. Something's sort of beyond the pale. It's weird. It's outre. So setting for many sci-fi stories. Oh, this is very specific. It's the USS Enterprise. Right. So sci-fi story. I mean, that's interesting that they would use this sort of generic reference to science fiction stories, but they're referring specifically to things set in the universe of Star Trek. Yeah, I mean, I guess there are quite a few Star Trek films and television series, so I suppose it is true that many applies. To levy, you could assess a tax on something, levy a tax on it, so that works there. Jungle theme, I haven't looked at this yet. Jungle themed Halloween costume. An ape suit, I suppose. That sounds pretty plausible. Here we have I'm ready, all set, I think. And key on a computer keyboard is escape. It didn't even occur to me. This is a Saturday puzzle with very much with a theme. And the theme is, as is often the case, it's making the puzzle much easier to solve. I mean, I just wasn't getting anywhere until getting it with this outer space bit. So that's hugely helpful. Anyway, take a chair, sort of sit down. I'm not 100% certain about that. No, it isn't that, because work with is use. So take a, not seeing that either. Recesses. Archives? It's too long, actually, ironically. Recesses. I don't know. I'm not seeing that. Take a willingly once. So does this mean once, at least in cryptic crosswords, once often is a way to refer to an archaic word? Either a word that is no longer in common use or a word that has a particular meaning that's no longer current? I assume that's what this means here, but I don't know what the answer is. Exotic now Voyager setting. I don't recognize the name now Voyager. It may be left at a crime scene, a print, a fingerprint. Rio de Janeiro. It's a place. It's a place something could be set, but I just don't recognize what this is. Willingly once. I'm not sure. Singer with the 1986 #1 hit "Rock Me Amadeus." I know the song. I can't think. I might recognize it when I see it, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. Dolphins Group. Well, as I remember from the daily crossword I solved the other day, which featured Dan Marino as an answer, who was, as I kind of vaguely remembered, and turned out to fortunately correctly have remembered, he played for the Dolphins. So this could be something like, I don't even remember the names of the various conferences in the NFL that this would potentially pertain to, if those are the Dolphins being referenced. But it would be something like the AFC, is it the AFC? And Miami is on the East Coast, so the AFC East? I think it's, what is it, AFC and NFC for American and National? I think that's what it is. I know that this must be just insufferable for those of you who know anything about the NFL, but I'm kind of scratching at the boundaries of my knowledge with that one. Oh, Falco is the singer behind Rock Me Amadeus. I actually do it's one of those things you kind of have heard a few times in your life, and then there we go. 60s organization, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, CND. There might be another organization relevant, but 60s specifically. I mean, much more prominent in the 60s. So there we go. Explorer-born René Robert Cavelier. I don't know. I do not know. Wonder if I'll recognize it when I see the answer. Grub could be eats, food. Recurrent Twilight Zone plot device. No, I was going to think maybe alternate. Well, let's just see if it fits. Alternate, I don't think so. I think print is probably correct for the crime scene thing. Hercules or Perseus? Does this help anymore? Oh, never mind. Maybe this is wrong because these things don't really add up. I don't know how you'd end up with two L's, then a D, then a T. So I think Falco is correct. Hercules or Perseus. Maybe are these moons or something, actually? I bet I bet because there's sort of this outer space theme. And I wonder because actually, yeah. Oh no, they're constellations. They're constellations. Give me a break. This is lunar eclipses. How did I miss this? Of course, Hercules and Perseus are constellations. That's what it is. We're not referring to the sort of source characters from Greek myth. We're referring to the constellations that they are meant to sort of, represent. Okay. Right, Barbershop Relative. It was indeed the music. I was right about that, but I didn't think of doo-wop, which is the genre, and I think actually was referenced in another recent daily puzzle. It can't be canned, ad-lib, right. So I see. So canned means sort of pre-planned or pre-recorded, but ad-lib is by definition improvisatory, so it can't be canned. Lilliputian informally, there we go, it's itsy, so similar to eeny, but just a different kind of informal word meaning very small. And then up this street and down the next, perhaps. Oh, I see, that's a route. In other words, if you tell someone, oh, it's up this street and down the next, you could be sort of giving them a route plan, essentially. And then to not check something would be to bet. Oh, like I bet that's true, but you don't check it? This might have not check might have a gambling meaning. It probably does that I'm missing here. So I'm just going to assume that's correct and move on. Okay, so yeah, this isn't what I thought it was. So what is this? 60s organization. Wouldn't be the CIA. I don't understand what that would have to do with the 60s in particular. I'm sure I'm missing an obvious thing here, but I'm just going to have to look elsewhere for now. Recurrent Twilight Zone plot device. So I'm not sure about that either. Pitch perfect words. Pitch perfect words. I'm not sure. Typical Manhattanite. A tenant is someone who's renting an apartment. It sounds plausible to me. Someone who lives in Manhattan might very well be a tenant. Sorry, just checking in case there's anything important on my phone. Creator of Saturn. Oh, right. Okay, so now this is the opposite case as with this constellation thing where it looks like it's about something dealing with outer space, but I don't think it is. I think it's the video game manufacturer Sega, which had a video game console called the Sega Saturn. So I think that's what's going on there. And then, bred in some ethnic cuisine. Non, which is rarely in American English spelled N-A-N, but is in some kind of dialects, and so it could be that. Sorry, I wonder if I can make this stop buzzing at me. I don't know how to do that, actually, without going deeply into some settings or something. Anyway, pitch perfect words. Oh, no, I can put it in airplane mode. Sorry, I'm going to do that. All right, pitch perfect words could be slogan, as in an ad pitch, that kind of thing. So who is this explorer? Oh, no, never mind. I thought I had an idea, but then I didn't. This looks like Alien. Oh, is it Alien Invasion? Oh, really? Is that a recurrent Twilight Zone plot device? I mean, I've seen a number of episodes of Twilight Zone, and I've really enjoyed when I have seen it, but just in the way that growing up, I would see it sort of in reruns occasionally. I've never sort of sat down and watched the whole series, and I don't think I realized that Alien Invasion was a recurrent plot device. That's sort of interesting. Laval? So 60s organization. CVA. I'm not sure that's right. I'm not really certain about this explorer. I'm going to have to look this up. 60s organization. What would this be? I don't know. That's really frustrating. I'm going to have to leave that for now. Take a blank. Take a flyer. Is that a sports thing? That sort of sounds familiar. Willingly once. Feign? Exotic now. Maybe this is Rio. Exotic now. I'm going to have to look up Now Voyager as well. Let's see. Oh, yes. No, it is, because recesses are alcoves. I don't know why that didn't come to mind earlier. And then this is Take a Flyer. Once again, I'm just going to have to leave this be and then and move on. Okay, so feign is indeed willingly once. That sort of sounded right in my head. So the rest of these look plausible enough that I'm going to move on. Canola oil product. Pam is a sort of sprayable cooking oil. So that's probably canola oil, which is a common cooking oil. Greeting that means love or peace. Aloha, the Hawaiian greeting. Comic strip husband. I'll probably recognize this, but let's look elsewhere for now. Unicellular organism. I'm not immediately seeing this. Unicellular organism. I can't think of what this would be, unfortunately. Wonder-working prophet in Two Kings. Oh boy. This is a book for book of the Bible. Elisu, sort of. I think that's the name of a prophet, for a biblical prophet. I certainly couldn't tell you from which book. I'm going to have to make sure this is actually right. I don't know this. I'm not sure this is correct, but let's check the crosses. Winning party in Clay versus United States. This is Clay, presumably Muhammad Ali's previous name, Cassius Clay. So that's a clever sort of thing, in that you look at this and you think, well, shouldn't it be either Clay or the United States? So this is clever. A clever clue in that sense. Irish equivalent of Jane. Sinead? I bet that's correct. Explanatory words, as in. So you could say, yes, this is the case. This is the thing I'm talking about, as in this example context. Comic strip husband. Oh, Arlo. There is a newspaper comic strip called Arlo and Janice, I think. Fairly certain that's correct. So Monad. I hope this is right. Oh goodness. Monad sounds more right to me. Alicia. Maybe that's the answer, because monad sounds better than monud to me. I mean, the mon obviously one, which makes sense with a unicellular organism. I think this is probably the case. Now I'm going to have to go back over here. So what are some things I could think of a French name being? I could imagine this being a V. I could imagine this being an S, La Salle. That actually probably sounds even more plausible to me. I guess it could maybe be a C or an M, maybe. It seems less likely. I think of those, S feels the most plausible to me. This would be CSA. Oh, is it the 1860s? The Confederate States of America? Is this a sort of American Civil War reference? Could be. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Oh no. How do I... I don't know how to make the crossword know that I'm done. Do I have to manually click check? Check puzzle? I might have something wrong. If I change this around a bit, no. Okay, I'm a little bit at sea here. What do I do? I think do I just say check puzzle? What does this mean? Does blue mean correct? I have no idea what's going on. How do I know if the puzzle's right? I'm completely baffled at the moment. Well, I think everything is the same color. I think that means I think that means everything in here is correct. I don't know how to do this. I really don't. Valuable. Maybe I have to. Maybe I have to fill this all out. Blanks. Entry form. So is this not blanks then? You might draw them when answering question, but no. But these don't all fit. Doesn't remember as something obvious with on blanks on. I don't see how that works. There are only 1 down and 44 down are the proper length. That reminds me, I actually haven't read all of these presumably theme clues. So we looked at these. We haven't looked at the bottom half, essentially. So what starter pistols shoot? They shoot blanks. Yeah, there we go. Billy of infomercial. Billy blanks, I guess. Not sure about that one, but that must be because all the rest of these have been blanks. Voids without, blanks out, sure, a name on a form or something. And unstamped metal discs used for making coins are blanks. Yes, indeed. Okay, well, I'm a little bit confused. I'm not sure how to submit this puzzle. I mean, check puzzle. That's what I did. I mean, they're all blue, which in and of itself doesn't mean anything to me. But the fact that they're all the same color, either they're all correct or every single one of these is wrong, which is strikes me as extremely unlikely. So I might just have to sort of pause this video and then try and figure out how to actually submit this crossword. I've never encountered this problem before. All right, well, I'll be back in a moment, I suppose. Okay, I'm still not really sure what's going on. So I found two, actually, websites with completed grids of this puzzle, and they both looked like mine and were empty. So I'm going to try writing the word blank into each cell, because I feel like that's the most literal representation of the theme, in the sense that if I put in blank for each of these, then the answer sort of literally refers to plural blanks. I hope this works, because it's going to be quite a lot of typing. I really enjoyed this. I think this puzzle's quite extraordinary, and I really enjoy the theme. It's been slightly marred for me by how completely impenetrable the sort of conclusion to it has been, and not knowing how to actually validate it. So I'm hoping this works. If not, then I guess I'll have to pause the video again and do some more searching online. I would have assumed that this would have been an issue for lots of people at the time, but I don't know what to say. I'm sort of just blathering on as I perform this fairly unglamorous task here. I'm getting faster at it, aren't I? And then, you know what? Since I'm looking things up on the internet anyway, I should look up what the sort of karma online is precisely and let you know that as well. Oops, because I'm not going to be able to come back tomorrow and read responses to this crossword, because I have no idea what day this was. There it is. There it is. Okay. Oh, and it deleted them all. Oh, can you well, that's just insulting, I have to say. After requiring me to type all those in and then removing them immediately upon submission feels like adding insult to injury. I mean, that's almost the definition of adding insult to injury. Why didn't you accept it as I had it before, if this was the form you wanted it to take anyway? What can you do? All right. Well, since I mentioned it, I am going to look up the Karma Online. Sorry, I'm just opening up another window here and looking at it. It is interesting. Karma Online is a proposed conventional boundary between Earth's atmosphere and outer space, set by the international record-keeping body FIA, the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, at an altitude of 100 kilometers above mean sea level. However, such a definition of the edge of space is not universally adopted. Okay, so I think that was sort of essentially what my memory was. I didn't remember any of those specific elements of it, but something about kind of defining the sort of extent of the Earth's atmosphere, I suppose. And it looks like this is not something I remembered, but it's more a legal and regulatory concept than it has anything to do with the sort of physical reality of that space. So it's not based on anything that changes in an overt way about the atmosphere, it seems. But anyway, there we go. A very clever puzzle. Really enjoyed it. Didn't enjoy the labor at the end, sort of Herculean labor we had to maybe a Sisyphean would be more accurate there. But anyway, didn't enjoy that bit. But really enjoyed the solve and sort of figuring out what was going on. Very pleased with myself for remembering, I suppose, at least 3 of the locations in Gulliver's Travels, one of which turned out to be used. And there we have it. That was a very fun, never before New York Times crossword, and the final one of this series. So that's that. I'll have to find new bonus puzzles to solve for my off days. And anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me for this. I don't know, because I don't know on what day this is being released, I don't know if tomorrow I'll be back to the Daily Solve or if there will be more bonus videos. But either way, there should be something on the channel for you tomorrow. So look forward to that. I hope you join me for whatever it is. Until then, please do take care.